All right, let's change 2007 Ranger steering wheel. For this, you need a 5/32 Allen wrench. You take all these bolts out. We'll be right back. All right, let's get this out. Last screw, last screw. There's all my screws right there. Steering wheel just falls right off. Oh, that thing's heavy. That thing probably weighs 10, 12 pounds. Jesus. All right, then we gotta take this spacer here off because my new steering wheel, courtesy of Smith, it's right here and weighs a lot less. It's not just lower quality, it's just different material, and I'm gonna pick up about a half a mile an hour from dropping 10 pounds out of the boat. We'll see. All right, so let me get this spacer off, big wrench. Watch the keyway when it comes out. I'll be right back. Let me get my parts. Let's see. I was just kidding. All I gotta do is pop the bolts out of right here. Take the spacer off. I'm not gonna deal with all that. So don't worry about the keyway. Don't worry about the wheel spacer. We'll just take these out. Let the steering wheel on. We're good. But if you had to, you take my wrench go. Right here. What is this, 15/16? Yeah, 15/16. Put that on there. Get you a big filter wrench or something, probably goes about 3.5 inches. Big channel locks with a gripper and rag or something, and hold on this so it don't turn. Twist that off, then use a jaw puller, pop that loose. Put the new one on, you're good to go. There is a keyway, which you can see slightly right over the top of that nut right in there. You want that keyway pointed straight up if you were going to pull this wheel spacer off to make sure that key doesn't fall out, or so you can catch it so you don't lose it. Don't forget that. All right, that one was slightly bigger. That one took a 3/16 Allen wrench for this steering wheel. But when this thing pops up, if it doesn't have a nut in it, which this one doesn't, you can just pull real hard on the spacer and it just pops loose. They fell off before I turned the camera back on. And it's got a wheel cap cover. Just lay that to the side. Put this baby up here. Make sure all the holes align just like so. Should be standard. This one, I don't know if this is gonna line or not. Let me get a few screws in here and we'll find out. All right, so my filter wrench was not quite big enough. This thing's like 3.5, the thing goes to 3.25. So all I got is a huge pair of channel locks. The packing material that came with the new steering wheel because it did not fit the new spacer or the old spacer, so I got to put the new one on. So take this, big channel locks around the housing on the wheel adapter. Put your wrench. Put your wrench back on there, and then just twist it loose. And I'll show you when it comes off. There you go. Back material. And these are huge channel locks. I mean, big channel locks. Then you pop this baby. Now you gotta have my puller to pull this off. And then you'll see what I was talking about with the keyway. There's actually 3 slots. Only one has the key. And the key is right there. So you turn this. I got my steering clips on. I'm gonna take my steering clips off. I'll turn this straight up. When my steering clips off, I'll get my puller on, and I'll be back. All right, so I got it loose. And how I did that, you would think puller. Got your big puller, you center it up, put your pins back. Put your pins back on all 3 legs, and then you just twist your puller till it gets tight. The problem was, my puller, sorry about the camera, my puller would not clamp behind those. I didn't have enough gap right back here with it tight to get that, to get the puller on. So I took a different route. Hammer. You take that hammer and you smack it right on the nut, right on the bolt head right there. You gotta make sure you put this nut back on so that this thing doesn't come flying off when you put pressure on it. But you put your nut back on 4 or 5 turns. Got a big old screwdriver. You stick it back here behind it. Pull out, apply pressure. You see that? Whenever I put pressure on it, it slides out. Put as much pressure on it as you can. I'm pushing the screwdriver in and I'm pulling back toward me. So you're holding that tight and then you smack that, boom, right there in the center. You smack that with the hammer. It might take 2 or 3 licks. You move your screwdriver around and then it should free up and come loose. That's an alternative approach if you can't get that son of a gun to sit still for you. So let me take this nut back off and then we'll see what the spacer looks like. All right, nuts off, spacer's off. I didn't turn it back straight like I told you, but thankfully my cotter pin or my keyway did not fall out. So we'll set that to the side. This is the puller. It's a puller set. In case you guys need to go get one, it's cheap. Got multiple sizes. None of the 3 fit, so a hammer and a screwdriver work just fine. Again, weight difference. This thing probably weighs a pound. This thing probably weighs, this is aluminum or cast. One of the two. Probably, it feels like it's aluminum. Probably weighs 4 pounds and this thing weighs about a pound. So cheaper, yes. As well made, no. Lighter, yes. Faster, yes. Functional, yes. Suitable, yes. Going on the boat, abso-friggin-lutely. Everything you can do to get another half a mile an hour. Can't have nobody passing us. And cheap on there. This is also, if you take that off, this is how you put your dual trim on. You do the exact same steps. Screw here, screw here, screw here. I got 3 screws in my dual trim. I got one for the jack plate, one for the trim. I got issue with this one sticking, so I'll take this thing back off in a couple of weeks and pissing me off. So I gotta fix that. I'll put the new DD26 upgrades on that baby when I get that far, so I'll do another video. All right, let's put the steering wheel back together. So this goes on like that. Nut goes back on. We'll tighten this thing back down. Word of caution when you put your nut on, make sure if you have to hit it with a hammer, put the nut on right flush with the bolt head so you don't strip any of the threads as you're poking on it. It'll be the smartest thing to do. So I'm gonna tighten this back down. I'll be right back. All right, got that thing back on there. Got the screws in. Tighten that nut up. Lay the wheel up. Put the nuts in or the screws in. Screw them up good and tight. I hit the pause for a little bit because I had to call TH Marine and talk some junk. Can't find this little dude. You can see there. This one's nice and straight, tight. This one, not so much. A little loosey-goosey. I took it apart, took the solenoid off. The little part back there, and nothing more than a solenoid. Or not a solenoid, but a rocker switch. It's actually a toggle switch with a long threaded rod that comes out. And you can't buy them online aftermarket, or you can, but you just got to find the right one. So while I try to find the right one, I called them and asked them for one. And no, they don't sell them. So hopefully they have one laying around the shop and just send me one for free because it's a $3 to $5 part. Otherwise, you got to buy the whole toggle switch assembly. And I'll take these little pieces of plastic off, put the DD26 and the new toggles up there. Next time you see the boat, most likely it'll have it on there. But get your screws in here, get this thing nice and tight. I'll throw the cap on it and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Stay tuned. There she is in all her glory. Much better, nice and tight. Got plenty of grip. It's not gonna be cold when I'm driving anymore. I don't know if y'all noticed, but this one was aluminum, very heavy. It had 3 places in it. The type of material this is versus this is different. This is actually more rubberized. This is a very hard rubber. So it actually gets really, really cold and these are worn out. But nice steering wheel. Very, very heavy. Very heavy. No more. Lose the weight. Went from this to this. Not quite as fancy a wheel, but a whole lot lighter. That's a wrap.